I think you all have a point. Like, we continued our conversation into the break. So the Padres point that you make is not a bad one. It's a little bit of a simplification sensation.
That's a buck.
Okay? Because of the nature of the San Diego sports market.
I'll agree with that.
Like, they brought, Tatis and started with him, and then you got Machado and the rest of what they've done, and really cool City Connect jerseys. And my God, if y'all haven't been to the ballpark in San Diego, it is pretty much everything that a ballpark could be south of ours. I mean, it's fantastic. Some people might even like it better, but it is just a wonderful experience. And so they caught a hold of that Charger anger, and they're now a big thing. I've told you this story before. When I was doing radio in San Diego, this is a San Diego media thing. It's a thing. You go to the opener for the Padres, game 1, and everyone's up there in the press box at Petco Park. And around the 7th inning, no matter what the score is, you start to see mainly the TV people, all the guys with their makeup on and everything. They start to stand up and, all right, and just gather up their things and everything, and they start to get ready to leave. And it's a really funny line that everyone shares with each other as you get to the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. The media would look at each other and go, see you next year. Because that was the only game that they would go to all year long. That was Padre baseball, and Dibs, that was like 6 years ago.
I'm looking at the attendance numbers, and they averaged 23,000 at Petco Park, and that was in 2009. Yep. Losing team, and they averaged below 30 for the majority of the 2010s until about 2020. Oh. 2020, no fans. And then after that, they started loading up the payroll. They went from $90 million in 2019, 141, 151, 173. This year is 236.
Well,
and as the payroll has gone up, the attendance has gone up.
And remember what happened in 2018. Chargers left.
Yes.
The Chargers left.
2018, they averaged 26,772. This year, they're averaging 14,000 more.
Yeah.
So I think part of that is what you're talking about. You're a one-sport town now from a professional standpoint, but I also think that part of it is the payroll.
No doubt.
You went from 2018, your payroll was the Oakland A's dream about $93 million. Mm-hmm. You were $93 million. This year, you're $236. So because now you're $236, if you're a fan, a casual fan, and I would put myself in that bucket as a Giants fan. If I wasn't a sports talk radio host, I would be probably a casual Giants fan. I watch the Giants. I like the Giants, but I'm not like you, super diehard, orange and black. I'm a Giants fan.
I don't even know what I'm going to do tonight. I hate day games.
Totally.
What the hell are we supposed to do after dinner tonight? Am I going to talk to people?
You're going to have to. Oh, you got football.
Yeah.
You got
the fourth quarter of a preseason football game. I give you $100 if you can name one player in the fourth quarter of tonight's game.
I'll name it tomorrow.
No, you can't.
I don't know who's going to play. I don't know who's going to play.
Yeah, because you don't know the third-string linebackers with the Jets.
You know what I do know?
What do you know?
I bet the under 33.5.
Is it that low?
We're under 33.5.
Who's playing? Is Zach Wilson playing? Is Mike White playing? Who's playing tonight?
Mac Wilson's playing. I know that.
Who are you?
Who's playing?
Jack Wilson.
Is Deshaun playing? Is Watson playing? He's not playing, is he?
Zach Wilson versus Kellen Mond. Come on.
Okay.
Lock in.
Kellen Mond.
Yeah, I like the under.
A&M.
I like the under.
Like an Aggie.
Anyway, both of these things are true. But it led to a question. So, okay, Giants fans, would you rather be the Padres right now? You're still in the race. You're 54-55. You are 6.5 games worse than where the Giants are. You're 54-55, and you, on a nightly basis, you get Soto. You get Machado. You get Tatis. You get Yu Darvish. You get Xander Bogaerts, leads the league in double plays. You get what's my guy's name? The pitcher,
Blake Snell.
Blake Snell, but no, the local one, Joe Musgrove. You get all that and a 54-55 record. Or, behind door number 2, 61-49, third best record in the league.
Who are you?
And a Wilmer Flores platoon.
Right. Well,
what do you want? What do you want?
I want the Padres because the Padres are.
Did you just say that? Really?
They're only 7 games back of the Giants?
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
They're a team on the rise.
Thanks for listening to the show.
Well, I mean, whatever. I was Googling Padre players so I could fire back at you. Actually, you know what I was doing? I was looking up Giants attendance by year to compare it to their payroll because the Padres' payroll exploded and the attendance exploded alongside. Mm-hmm. The Giants have done, wait for it, incremental gains on the old payroll.
Yep.
We're not pouring a ton of money into this because it's not what we do. And the attendance is far below the Padres for a number of different reasons, other than the fact that the payroll is much higher. You're right about the one sport factor.
I do think that the Giants, and I don't think this is their fault, I think that the Giants for too long used the pandemic as excuse is not the right word. Their internal meetings when they're trying to figure out what was going on with attendance, for too long they were like, well, pandemic. It is one of the reasons. It is. And it has lasted longer here than other places because of the nature of our city and the fact that there are just a lot of people who aren't cruising around on the streets and coming to businesses and the offices and everything like they used to. That is a piece of it. I think they overweighted that as opposed to some of the other reasons that are in play. And yes, exciting players is part of it. I think that the whole process is overpriced. I think that's true with a lot of professional sports.
Yeah.
But it is very, very difficult. Park, food, tickets, what have you, to take your kids out to the ball game. It's hundreds of dollars, even if you do it in a cost-effective sort of a way. So all of those things are factors here.
I do think that the pandemic factor, I don't think that they have overplayed it. I think that is very much a real thing in terms of why their attendance this year, they're averaging 30,844. Pre-pandemic, they were 33,429. Yeah. That team was 77-85. That team wasn't as good as this team. Now it had more known commodities. That team in 2018 or 2019 was the first year without Bumgarner, right? But you had the two Brandons.
Brandons were here.
The two Brandons and Buster had in 2019.
But they were all declining. People that was the
right. Yeah. But you stunk. Your payroll was $175 million, and you drew 33,429, and you weren't very good. This year's payroll is $20 million lower than that, and your attendance is lower, and you're good. So I do think the pandemic factor is still a bit of a hangover for them because of what you mentioned. Not as many people are working downtown, and today would have been a great example. If you work downtown and you're going to be downtown, let's take a long lunch and at least go down there, biddly bop on down for 6 innings, right?
Well, by the way, like it doesn't even need to be that long of a lunch anymore with the pitch clock.
Good point.
Right? 2 hours, baseball, all right, back to work.
That baby was 2 hours today, I think, in and out.
I'd have to look at what time, but no, the game was over. What? Yeah, before 3 o'clock.
Right about 3, 2:50 or so. So
that's crazy.
Quick one.
Kevin in Belmont, and real quick, Kevin, before you start talking, let me let everyone know that they're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Okay, Kevin in Belmont, you're on with Willie and Debbie. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me. I just wanted to keep going off that point you guys were last talking about with Farhan and just the way the team is constructed. You know, it's really only built for a regular season run. When you get to the playoffs, every game is different. Every day is different. You need that bat in the lineup. If you remember the 2021 series against the Dodgers, why did we lose? They scored like 10 runs in 5 games. You got to get that bat in the lineup.
Well, the thing about that Dodgers series, Kevin, I don't disagree with you at all. The thing about that Dodgers series, though, I will push back on The Giants lost that series because they didn't have the big bat. The run total got a little skewed because the Dodgers their offense went ballistic in one game. That series couldn't have been closer. It could not have been closer. You got to the ninth inning of a 2-2 series tie with a tie baseball game. And
was it 0-0?
No, I think it was 1-1 or 2-2.
Yeah.
And a 106 team versus a 107 team. Do you know what I mean? Like you have examples you can use to make your points without using that one. I don't think there was anything embarrassing. Oh, the Giants, they were good, but then it collapsed when they got to the playoffs. Not really. Not really.
Yeah, 2-1 was the final, so it was a 1-1 game.
The two best teams in the National League battled to a draw for 4 games plus 8 innings, and then Cody Bellinger got a hit. We can do.
Yeah.
That to me, that's not Exhibit A. Like, I think you can make the point they're making now. Do they have the players in their lineup who can handle an elite pitcher in the playoffs and get the big hit?
Yes.
That's the argument.
The run totals for the Giants in that series, 4-2, 1-2-1.
Same thing they're doing right now.
Exactly. So, and that's where my fear lies in terms of the viability of this team come October, because you can't score runs in the regular season when you're facing, more mediocrity than you will in a short series against a good team that's also playoff caliber. And I'm just looking back at these results, and you win 4-0 in the opener, then you get boat raced 9-2, so that's where the run differential falls short. And you're right.
That was the one I went to.
Gutsy 1-0 win at LA to take a 2-1 lead.
Was that the Longo home run, I think?
Yeah, then you get motorboated 7-2 in Game 4, and then you lose 2-1 on a Bellinger flare to right center. But to the greater point, and maybe Kevin's point as well, you don't have that offense to where
it's a fair point.
You can win one of those games, put up a crooked number, and take somebody out, and get into somebody's bullpen.
I mean, Pavlovich said something to us the other day that I think is discussion worthy and a little bit of a head scratcher. He says the Giants subscribe to the same theory that the A's and the Dodgers do, which is that when you get to the playoffs, it's a crapshoot. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I could argue if those 3 teams are saying it's a crapshoot when you get to the playoffs, well, maybe that's your way of explaining the lack of success that you've had when you get there. Not so much the Giants. The Giants, in this regime, the only example we have is that one series we were just discussing. But why did the Giants have such success in the playoffs in 10, 12, and 14 when they got there? Now, I would argue those offenses were a little bit more dynamic, but not much.
Yeah.
They didn't have star hitters there either. They had a couple games where they exploded. Game 1 against the Texas Rangers in 2010.
Cliff Lee
stands out. Can't hit Cliff Lee.
No one can.
You can tonight. But what they had was a great bullpen. And this team has a great bullpen. But if the Dodgers are telling me, well, hell, the playoffs are a crapshoot, I don't know, man. Maybe you're explaining something away because you've largely stunk when you get there because you're usually the best team.
Yeah.
You have the best record. You win the division. You're the 1 seed. And you almost always lose when you get there. So I don't know, man. I think that it's something about the way these teams are constructed that's a little bit off. The Giants don't have the hitter that can handle the elite fastball. The Dodgers have never had the bullpen to do it.
Yeah, and the Giants have the bullpen this year.
They do.
They lead the major leagues in bullpen innings, and I think part of that is a byproduct of how many times they use the opener. And I was looking at the numbers because you've been pretty harsh on the Padres and their bullpen. So even though the Padres are number 1 in baseball in ERA, a lot of that stems from their starters. They have a great rotation. So I did a little bit of a deep dive on their bullpen, and the Padres are 7th in bullpen ERA with a 3.76.
Well, what's their clutch stats?
The Giants are 3.64 in terms of overall ERA. But then you look at WAR, wins over replacement. In terms of bullpen WAR, the Giants are number 2 in baseball. 4.7 is their bullpen WAR, wins over replacement. Only Baltimore is better. And that's where the Padres are 19th
there you go.
In WAR. So it's an interesting way that you break it down in terms of the bullpen, because the Padres bullpen is good until
Until.
you get into the deep, deep water.
Exactly.
And that's where it falls short.
Well-
And that's ultimately where the biggest need for a bullpen is.
My thought on their bullpen did not come from statistical research. It came from
Your eye test.
Remember when? Well, not that either.
Okay.
Remember when the Padres were here and everything kept going. Remember how sideways they got in their bullpen in that
Hader.
series, right? Hader, and just people coming in and walk, like they coughed a bunch of stuff up. Because I used to work in San Diego, I got a lot of buddies who work down there. I see a lot of San Diego Twitter. So when that collapse kept happening, they were so rubbed raw. Here we go again, and Bob Melvin this, and Josh Hader that. They hate their bullpen, which told me all I needed to know. The Padres bullpen keeps failing in big moments. Not all the moments, but in the big moments. And it's why they're 6.5 games behind the Giants. It's the only reason. It's literally everything. In fact, they probably would be 5 games ahead of the Giants if they just could close out a few close games. Because nobody would argue that they don't have a way better lineup.
Yeah.
They have a way better lineup.
And a better rotation.
A better run differential.
Right. Everything.
All of it.
Points to them being better. And I think expected win-loss record, the Padres would be right behind the Dodgers in terms of the overall standings in the NL West.
Do you know what's wild, though? What's super wild about this
card.
conversation? The card is wild. That's a good one.
Thank you.
The San Diego Padres this year have scored a total of 15 more runs than the Giants.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
That super expensive, fancy lineup. See, that's the stuff, and I know everyone hates it. I'm fully aware of it. But, hey, Mark, why do you like Farhan so much? I support stuff like this. They're sitting in a front office right now. They're looking at that. And they're going, why? Why do you have 4 players making $300 million for 15 more runs over 110 games than we've got with Blake Sable batting 6th? Why? Why do you demand that we spend $1 bajillion? They're not getting the results. The Yankees, Judge, last place.
3 words for you.
Last place.
3 words. October.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Not like it's gone well for them either.
Well, it went better for them last year than
Well,
it did for the Giants
they were in it.
when they won 107.
Yeah,
they
the
won
Giants-
a series.
Yeah, yes, they did.
I mean, the Giants won 107 and then scored 9 runs in 5 games.
Oh, well, yes. I thought you were last year. The Giants weren't in it.
No. Last year, the Padres went deeper than the Giants did the year before. And
correct.
part of that was because they have an offense that is potent enough to win games in October.
I would argue this. You make the playoffs or you win the World Series. I don't really give a rip if you made the second round versus the first round. Like, this is another thing. If someone asked me what's a successful season this year, I've been very clear. For Shohei, you got to make the playoffs. I don't think it's imperative that you do a whole lot when you get there. Now, that's going to sound weird. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. Just with regard to Shohei, I don't think that the Giants have to win the World Series. I do not think that. I think they need to make the playoffs. And that's it. If they lose in the first round, 3-game series, who knows who you're playing, right? Cincinnati, Ellie De La Cruz gets into one. I don't know what happens.
Right now, it would be
Who would it be?
it would be the second wild card team, which would be the Phillies, I believe.
Oh, that'd be a good series.
Because 3 would play 6. I apologize. No, they're 4.
No,
4
they'd
would
be
play
4.
5. They
4
would
plays
take on
5.
the Phillies.
Philadelphia Phillies.
Correct. They
Yeah.
would be the 4 seed. They take on the Phillies.
Here.
Correct.
At Oracle Park.
Yes.
At Oracle Park.
As of now, but it's such a tight wild card race that
Although it is as not tight as it has been for a long time. This is the largest lead that any one of the teams has had in the wild card in weeks. The Giants are a game and a half clear of everybody.
Yeah, I meant it's tight in terms of how many teams are still in it.
Oh, totally.
You know, forget the Giants because the Giants are a game and a half up on Philly, 2.5 up on Milwaukee.
And that can be gone by Sunday. I get it.
Of course, but I was thinking in terms of the bunching for the 3 wild card spots because Miami, Arizona, the Cubs, and even
The Padres.
Padres.
Yep. No. The Padres and Cubs have joined the party, especially the Cubs. They're only a game behind the Diamondbacks now. So, yeah, it's all jumbled up, and we know what August looks like on the schedule. It's going to be hard. It's going to be really, really hard. But for me, a successful season is not anything about, well, Schmidt got a lot of at-bats. Great. Make the playoffs. And then it becomes gravy. Great if you move forward. Great if you win the whole damn thing. I'll be rooting as hard as anyone. But for the Shohei conversation, I believe it's make the playoffs.
See, I would disagree just to the point where if he's looking at the Dodgers and the Giants just make the playoffs and they lose to Philly in 3 games here at home, but the Dodgers win their series and the Dodgers right now would be the 2 seed, so they would be awaiting the winner of this very series. You don't want to have the Dodgers beat the Giants even in a head-to-head. That would be bad.
No, you don't want it. Well, that's always bad, no matter what the implications are.
Actually, the Dodgers would be facing the Reds in the 2-3.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yep.